Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Wdia. Listen to what you say. You know it's time for the Bell Johnson Show. Woo! Time for the Bell Johnson Show. I like it. Let's go.
Let me know when you, and if you would you put those headphones on for me?
Yes, ma'am.
I wiped them off and everything.
I was glad
right and left. You can put them behind. Yeah, huh? How's your volume?
Yes, ma'am. I can
You
hear.
good? The
Yes,
volume
ma'am.
good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Good afternoon and welcome back to the second half of the Bev Johnson Show here on WDIA. It's Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. Enjoy this fabulous day today. All of you all out there who may be celebrating a birthday this day, we say go out and celebrate your life. And kind of melancholy today. Today is my mother's birthday, October 27th. Yes, it is. She's gone on to be with the ancestors, but I love you, Mom. Julia Atlas Danner Johnson. Today is her birthday. So, yeah, we're thinking about her. But I'm thinking about this. We are about to embodied on something. Haven't seen it in a while. Want to welcome into the show, Mr. Well, he got a brother Ron C. Hurd II. Good afternoon, Brother Ron. How are you?
Sister Queen Bev, I'm doing fine. I'm still above ground, making moves, and staying engaged. So,
man, when was the last time you were here? It was
one presidential term, actually, like 4 years ago.
Wow!
I can't believe it.
Wow. Well, Ron is here to talk about and the 2021 Jimmie Lunceford Jamboree Festival that's going on, and. Before you talk about it, and I wanted you to talk about for our listeners who are listening around the country,
Right.
Who was Jimmie Lunceford?
Well, James Melvin Lunceford is what Duke Ellington would call truly beyond category. He was like a man of all seasons, a true Renaissance man, and a man who cared about his people. He loved black folks so much that he dedicated his life serving and entertaining black people. Jimmie Lunceford was actually from a community called Evergreen outside of Fulton, Mississippi. He was born there June 6, 1902 on his parents' 70-acre farm. His grandparents were former slaves. They owned over 300 acres of land. If you go down to Evergreen, the Evergreen community today, his people still own their land. They got their homes on it outside of Fulton, Mississippi. That's near Tupelo.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where Fulton is. Yeah.
So he's from there, but he was raised actually in Denver, Colorado. His music instructor was a guy named Wilberforce Whiteman, who was the father of Paul Whiteman, who was considered the king of jazz. They know how they crowned their own last name Whiteman, but Wilberforce Whiteman believed that black and whites were entitled to a proper education as it relates to music education. He was, fair in that assessment, so he educated Jimmie Lunceford. Jimmie Lunceford is what you would call a prodigy. Like, he could play just basically anything he put his hands on, he could play. And he specialized in saxophones and clarinet, but his real specialization is his band, like motivating his band to go above and beyond expectations. But he came back south to go to school at Fisk University in Nashville back in 1922. I believe he graduated from Fisk back in 1926. Went up to New York to get some more schooling. Came back to down south to Memphis to teach at Manassas High School back in the late 20s. And it's interesting because he majored in social work in college. And he was not hired to be a music teacher or anything like that. He was hired to be like the gym teacher and language teacher and some other teaching, according to whoever source you get, you know. But he saw music as a way to create a rite of passage for young adults or young people, children, to become adults. That's how he utilizes music education program. And also he had a passion for music. He was also gifted as far as athletics were concerned. He excelled in boxing and track and baseball and things of that nature. But music really was his calling, and using music to organize black people into dedicating themselves to excellence and being exceptional. So he took his best high school students, formed a semi-professional band called the Chickasaw Syncopators, and they were very popular around Memphis, and he was very good. I know this is also the anniversary week of the founding of WDIA. It's the first black radio
formatted radio station in the country.
Right. So he was a genius at using radio to market himself and his band. So by 1930, around his 28th birthday, he left Memphis to pursue his dream of music superstardom. Now, I would say this about Jimmie Lunceford. He is credited with being the first person in the world to teach jazz studies in a formal educational setting. And he did that at Manassas High School, which is now North Memphis, but back then I guess it was unincorporated. But Manassas is considered the first fully accredited black school in Shelby County. Yeah. Because, you had what would become known as Booker T. Washington, but Manassas went all the way up to from 9th to 12th grade, and it was fully accredited. I think it was a Rosenwald school, if I'm not mistaken, under that, in an umbrella. But he left Memphis in 1930, and they struggled mightily on the road, snow up in Buffalo, Cleveland, all this stuff. And 4 years later, he's the house band at the Cotton Club at the Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway. And he was very popular. I mean, you got to think about it. His organization consisted of his best high school students. Like, his drummer was Jimmy Crawford, and bass player was Mose Allen. His college buddies from Fisk, the great Willie Smith on alto sax. He's like one of the key alto saxophonists of that era of the 30s and 40s. You have him, you have Benny Carter, and then you have Johnny Hodges from the Duke Ellington band. They did three folks to represent the most powerful sound on alto sax. Then you had Edwin Wilcox, who was his pianist, and also buddy from Fisk, gifted arranger, Ed Norris, people like that. So he had a band of brothers, basically, that they went through a lot of hard times. They made it to the big time, and he had a very distinctive sound. It was like they called the Lunceford 2-beat. It was not like the regular 4-beat thing. He had just hit it. You think about Memphis, like, you don't think about Stax. You even think about the hip-hop culture, like 3-6 Mafia. It's a certain type of sound that comes out of Memphis. And really, he was like one of the forefathers of that sound. And so it was very catchy. It was very danceable. He was considered the most popular black band leader for black people in the country. I mean, he was the number one outside of Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Cab Calloway. Black folks loved Jimmie Lunceford because not only did he have a great sound, but also his presentation was phenomenal. Like, he was like one of the first bands to really utilize tailor-made suits. And also, his band was great at choreography, telling jokes. They're very athletic. They would throw their trumpets up in the air and catch it on the beat and just continue to play. So they were very entertaining. And, the greatest show it was made for television. But, unfortunately, we'll get to the reason why he might not be that well known today. But what I love about Jimmie Lunceford was the fact that he loved to serve, not only entertain his people, but also serve them. Like, for example, he would come back to Memphis and sell out on Beale Street, I guess Church Auditorium or Beale Street Auditorium. And he would always come back to Manassas to give free concerts and musician clinics for the kids. And one of his protégés or disciples was a guy named Emerson Abel Jr., who, and I had a chance to befriend Mr. Abel. People would say he probably was the greatest high school band director the city ever seen. But he could recall as being a member of the Rhythm Bombers, the Manassas High School music group, that Jimmie Lunceford would come down with the people to show them. He was very fascinated with the sound of Jimmie Lunceford, saxophonist from Kansas City named Joe Thomas. And so Mr. Abel picked up the tenor sax and all this stuff, and had a phenomenal sound. But also Mr. Abel, was the co-founder of the Southern Heritage Classic.
Yeah.
Like, he actually founded it basically in his living room. He did the logo for it. He was like a Jimmie Lunceford, very like a Renaissance man, was good at everything, calligraphy. But he got a scholarship to Tennessee State, and he was like one of the top swimmers in the state.
Wow. Let me ask you this, Brother Ron, because I know you have a passion for Jimmie Lunceford.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get involved in or interested in him?
That's a good question. It was weird because I went to school up the Lazy River. I went to WashU in St. Louis, Missouri. I call it the state of Missouri. But Missouri, whatever. But it was interesting because I wasn't really into jazz per se. I was more into like R&B and rap. And I was a teenager, but my freshman year I had an epiphany because I had got into it with one of my instructors. This guy named Giuseppe Peroni. He's an Italian American from Boston. It's kind of like a Spike Lee do the right thing type of thing. We had these confrontations over culture, and because his class was like 8 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays in the morning, like you're a freshman and stuff, and your mom ain't there to wake you up. Sometimes I miss the class or be late. But one day he showed a documentary about the Sun Ra. The Sun Ra Orchestra, the Sun Ra say he was from Saturn. Like he was going up there before Elon Musk and all them guys were going up. Yeah, but he said space is a place. So this really captured my imagination to see this black man traveling around the world playing with these people that everybody else gave up on. I mean, he basically was like an alchemist, taking the black folks that society discarded and making them into transforming them to master musicians. So also he had a philosophy about what he was doing. So they really captured my imagination. Like one of my first jazz albums or CDs was John Coltrane's Giant Steps.
Wow.
Then I moved into Miles Davis Kind of Blue and Thelonious Monk. And also I got a better relationship with the guy, Giuseppe Peroni. He actually started recording me tapes from his own collection of music on jazz. It just really opened my mind and my ears and everything to the possibilities of what it could be to be a black creative entity. So I thank him for that. So when I started doing the research on all the jazz and stuff, everything still kept on coming back to Memphis. Like all roads lead back to Memphis. Like you think about jazz, people think about New Orleans, or even Chicago and New York, but it's so much Memphis. Memphis is like one of the most important jazz cities in the whole country. I would almost say it's more important than New Orleans, to be honest with you, because simply for the fact that you think about, Louis Armstrong, he's from New Orleans, but the wife who made him a superstar was from Memphis. Her name was Lil Harden Armstrong. Her folks were from Oxford, Mississippi, but she was born near Beale Street on February 3rd, 1898. And she was the pianist for his mentor, King Oliver in Chicago. And she saw his potential. She realized that this guy had something special because King Oliver told her one day, he said, look, Louis is a better horn player than I am, but he lacks the confidence. He'll never be bigger than me because he don't have confidence in himself. And, Lil, her head starts because she was married to somebody else. Louis was married to his first wife, who was a prostitute named Daisy Parker. But
the history. I love it.
Yeah, it's so much because it's like the stuff that people want to make it sanitized.
Yeah.
But if you look at somebody like Louis Armstrong, he didn't have no problem until he smoked weed every day.
Right.
And he was very honest about using weed because he was an insulator against racism and the trauma he experienced being a black person in America. So he used weed as medicinal purposes way before people talked about it. But he was honest about his past. Just read some of his letters and some. He was very frank about where he came from. He was not,
interesting. You mentioned that, Brother Ron, because I saw a documentary recently. It was on. I love Turner Classic Movies.
Oh yeah,
I'm a Turner Classic Movie.
Nothing wrong with that.
And they did that on Louis Armstrong. And when I saw that, and you're right, he smoked marijuana. He did a lot. I'm going like, wow. And it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, he had a very unique perspective on the world. He had what he called common sense and street smarts. He had a lot of that because of all the trauma and stuff he had to go to and endure. But it was a sister that was very like a classic woman, classy, sophisticated lady named Lil Harden that really straightened him out and gave him his foundation for him to have a phenomenal career as an iconic, creative genius that he was. But if it was for that black woman from Memphis who saw his potential, because she gave King Oliver his walking papers, she got divorced and married him, and he made sure he got divorced, and she upgraded him because he was country. Like she talking about, you know how that song with Otis Redding and Carla Thomas?
Yeah, Tramp.
Yeah, Tramp. He was like a tramp. You know, he had bangs and he had too tight clothes on and everything, but he had a lot of talent. She transformed him.
Great story.
Yeah, it's so much to it because like they remained friends for decades because Lewis ended up marrying 2 more times after that. But this was the woman who cleaned him up. She actually got him away from King Oliver, sent him to New York in a great Fletcher Henderson band, who was like the godfather or the father of the jazz orchestra and of swing. And really, you know, he started catching the attention of people up there. But what I say about Memphis is because every time, wherever Lewis went, it was Memphis people that upgraded him to his next level. Like even with A.L.L in Chicago, he played in the Erskine Tate orchestra at the Vendome Theater in Chicago, and Erskine Tate was a Memphian who used to play with W.C. Handy. So he was in his, you know, because like I remember W.C. Handy talked about Louis Armstrong, seeing him play in the Vendome Theater under one of his former disciples, Erskine Tate, and talking about how he had so much race pride. He was proud to be a black person. He was proud to entertain his people, give his best. So then he went to New York, the Fletcher Henderson band. He had one of the greatest clarinetists of that era, a guy named Buster Bailey, who was from Memphis, who played for W.C. Handy. So he was always meeting these cats from Memphis that was helping him.
Yeah,
up
so
his
you know,
game.
brother, you can't talk about Memphis. Memphis has a strong musical history.
It does.
I mean, really. I want to ask you this. I'm going to take a break, but I want to ask you, how did you decide to come up with this Jimmie Lunceford Jamboree Festival?
Well, it's something what one of your predecessors, the pioneer Nat D. Williams, basically paraphrased what he said, that his burial spot should have a significance for black Memphians. We should rally around his burial spot. And remember, this guy took a group of young black kids from North Memphis and made them some of the best in their profession, risen them to the heights of musical eminence, but he still chose to stay and live among his people. He did. Jimmie Lunceford never thought he was too good for black people, and he loved his people because, like, before he died, he was looking for real estate to start a retirement community for black musicians.
Wow!
But while he was alive, like I say, he did musician clinics and all this stuff for the kids, and also started music programs to keep kids out of trouble throughout the country. So, I mean, he was always about the village concept. So my thing is, my problem with us as a people, we don't really honor those who serve and love us because a lot of us don't know self-love. We don't practice self-love.
Right.
And Jimmie was a social worker, so he knew the power of using art to rally the community and to build confidence and to build respect and a sense of code of conduct among his people. Because I had the good fortune of talking to folks who actually played with him, and it was one beautiful woman named Catherine Perry Thomas, a longtime educator here, and she was from Manassas class in 1932. But her brother Andrew Perry played in his first band and turned pro with him. And she told me personally, and she gone on to glory, but she told me personally that Jimmie Lunceford, by the time he was able to discipline them guys, by the time they graduated, you thought they were like 25 or 30 years old. They were so mature and had so much confidence in themselves that they could take on the world and be successful.
Wow. We are talking with, I like to call him Brother Ron Hurd. We're talking about the Jimmie Lunceford Jamboree Festival that is coming. We're going to tell you some good news that's happening on this Sunday. If you do, this brother knows his stuff. If you have a question or two for him, we do invite you to call 535-9342, 535-9342, 1-800-503-9342 will get you in to us. You're listening to WDIA. Good.
I'm not talking too fast, though.
I love it.
Okay.
All hail the Queen. The Queen of Talk, that is. Bev Johnson on WDIA.
All right.
On the True Crime Podcast, Crossing the Line, host N. William Phelps.
Very good, brother. I love it.
I ain't talking too fast, man.
Now you good.
Okay, all right. I know I talk
You got
fast.
so much. You know what? You're talking this stuff, and it's interesting, Brother Ron. I had got an email from a sister, and I'm gonna write her today from over in Arkansas. Anyway, she's a professor.
Yes.
She has one of her graduate students want to interview me about blues and R&B. Well, I'm not a music person. My thing was news. And I was thinking, like, hell, she can I'm talking to you. Is it okay if I give you an email?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
because
fine.
I don't know what.
I think you know more than what you give yourself credit for, though.
I'm alright about, you know, she want to interview you about blues and jazz. Hey, you know, when I got into this thing, my thing was news. I'm a news person.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Bev Johnson Show, first name?
Hey, Bev Johnson.
Yes.
I got to give you credit today.
Okay, give me.
Boy, you know you got a good show. I like that. He is a well-educated man now.
Well, thank you, Joe Willie. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I get tired of all them blood dads calling in.
I know that. And hell, me too. Cheers.
So I got to give you credit today, boy. This is really interesting.
All right, thank you, Joe Willie.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yes, I like it. I love it.
He giving me credit. I got a good show today.
You always have a good show. I mean, I like Dr. Harper and all that.
Yeah, Doc Harper. Doc Harper, bad boy.
Yeah.
You know.
He continued with Dr. Francis Cress Wilson and Dr. Bobby Wright and all them.
Right, yeah. Right. But anyway, Ron, I'm a sinner, but I was going to interview you about.
But you know a lot. I mean, you know people.
Things,
yeah.
But I know that and their students. You know, there's a lot of people in Memphis that could talk with her.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking I was going to suggest call David Porter. He was at Stacks.
Oh, definitely David Porter.
Call people that are still living that more than me. I know some things. I don't know a lot of things, but I will though. But
you know more than what you give yourself credit for. Like
listen at you. Listen at you.
Yeah, I know. I be going on tangents and stuff. Sorry about that.
Because I know I could keep you on for you. I know that. But I want to talk about what's happening Sunday.
Oh yeah, because we're honoring you. Yeah, definitely.
No, you don't.
It well deserved.
But I think. But I wanted you to talk about, and I know. Sunday, but you have some more events going on.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of them. I try to have one every day. I'm a madman like that. But I've been utilizing technology as well.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Because this COVID messed up a lot of stuff.
It forced you to think out the box and force you just to. Adversity can be good sometimes. I mean, difficulties. Yeah.
You have to think out the box.
It can help you innovate. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I get too comfortable, but I'm glad that stuff happens.
Well, and you know what? And I hope, and I say this too, Ron, that COVID, a lot of people thought can think now. Okay, well, I had to do this because of COVID, so now you know what you can do and what you can't do.
Exactly.
It's like, because last year here, we were just locked up.
It was weird.
Ron, let me tell you, I couldn't have any guests in.
Wow.
So I was interviewing people on the phone, and that was just
you ain't like
irritating.
that. Yeah.
No, I don't like that because, I'm used to engaging. It was just like my students, when school stopped, we doing all that online. I hate that.
Right.
I hate that. I hate it. And when we shut down in March, and so we had to go online, and then the young men I had in my class, they never responded, Ron.
Really? Wow.
So, I had to fail them because they didn't do the work. I didn't hear from them. They
have a problem like with connecting or something like that?
I don't know what happened. Because I was emailing them, you have a problem, I'll work with you. Never heard from them. The sisters, they came on in, and so, then that was the spring, and then they asked me to come back in the fall, and which was really the COVID, and I only had about 7 students. I said, I'll go face to face. I'm not sitting up on doing no Zoom. I don't like. Yeah. I hated that online stuff. I don't like that. I like face to face to engage.
Yeah.
And so this semester I have 8 students. I'm on the Whitehaven campus. But I like that. But it's getting better. And I know it's hard. And a lot of the students would rather be face to face. They don't like to be on that computer because they ain't gonna be doing nothing.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, I get it.
Man, the school.
A lot of things been exposed. A lot of things have been exposed in inequities and everything. The shortcomings of the system.
Right. So. I
was at Manassas yesterday. Them kids are out of it, man. Y'all about to be voting next year. Some of y'all gonna be voting in 2024. Y'all just out of it. I can't blame them though, but like they've been.
Exactly. Right. And I had a great aunt. She might have been my great aunt. That she taught at Bonanza's for years. Etta Boyd. Her name was Etta Boyd. Here we go, Ron. We're going back on.
Okay.
Fires on Ghost Stories Radio. Plus, iHeart helps turn your house into the neighborhood's haunted headquarters with 3D Haunted House Radio. Download the free iHeart app today, where everything you need for Halloween
Is right there.
waiting for you. iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts.
Ron, you kind of the CEO of this, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is my
I
thing.
want to make sure I get it right, brother. I like to give people their props.
I appreciate it.
Here we go.
You're listening to
And I'm talking with this day Mr. Ron Hurd, who is the CEO of the Jimmie Lunceford Jamboree Festival. And I know, Ron, you have some things coming up, and talk about what you're doing with the festival all week long.
Oh, definitely. Like we started the kickoff on October 24th, and what we've been doing, we've been learning from COVID how to integrate technology because it's hard for people to meet. Sometimes people have a fear of getting into certain spaces with people, so we've been accommodating folks and trying to meet folks where they're at for the most part, online as well as off. Sunday I had a cover of book talk and a performance by Bobby Rush, one of our honorees at Port Gibson last month for the Lil Green, I think, celebrates Lil Green Day. He spoke there. He got a book out called I Ain't Studying. It's a great read too. It's a quick read. Is it? It's a page turner. And the way he wrote it is kind of like how this music is very. It grabs you in. He's a great storyteller. But I recorded that, because he's our homecoming court king for this year, and so I played it on Monday. Then on Sunday. Then on Monday, had a chance to talk to this guy named Brother John B. Smith. He was one of the co-founders of the Memphis Invaders. That's our Black Panther version here in Memphis. And he was like one of the last people to meet and speak with Dr. King right before he was assassinated. And so I had him on my show because I met him a couple weeks ago. And he got a book out he published. It's like a college course curriculum book, 950 pages. It's called The 400 From Slavery to Hip Hop. His own take on critical race theory. And he got all this information because he lives an extraordinary life. He's from Mississippi. His mom is still around. She's 101 years old.
Wow. And
still going strong. But he's a good brother. So I brought him in with me yesterday to speak to the kids at Manassas High School as well, to get them, because what we try to encourage through the Jimmie Lunceford Jamboree Festival Week is intergenerational learning and collaboration. Like with Jimmie Lunceford, like I said, he was a social worker who believed in the village and investing young and old. Didn't make a difference. Everybody had a story to tell and a part to play. So we try to do that with Manassas, because Manassas been having a bad run of luck. Just bad luck for the last, I guess, couple of decades. They cannot get a music program started for long and sustained. They just lost their band director, this brother named James McLeod. He passed away from COVID complications in September, I believe. Just 50 years young, but he was at Manassas for 2 years teaching the kids, and they set their program back. But before that, there was a young, beautiful sister there who just got started. And she had to resign from the school system entirely, from my understanding, because of health reasons. This is before COVID and everything. Yeah. And I thought they had promised. There was another guy before that. He was a young guy. He had to resign for health reasons. And it's so much stuff, because Manassas is kind of like, what Alabama is to football or Yankees is to baseball in terms of the music history. Because you got somebody like Miles Davis, who took the time in his autobiography to talk about all these phenomenal musicians that came through his band back in the 60s from Manassas. He talked about Harold Mayburn and George Coleman and Frank Strozier. Then he got to mention Booker Little and Charles Lloyd and people like that. He said, what are they doing at that one school to produce this type of talent? And his music hero growing up, he talked about this in his autobiography, was Jimmie Lunceford. He used to listen to Jimmie Lunceford broadcast live from the Cotton Club when he was living in East St. Louis as a kid. So I don't know Miles ever made the connection that, this tradition was started by his music hero from his childhood.
Wow. And hopefully that Manassas can get a music program So folks who are listening, that you teach me, hey, that may be a job for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll put that out there. But they got a guy that's coming in, alum. I believe his name is Mr. Ronald Townsend, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he went to Manassas back in the '60s. But them kids, man, they just I can't believe. Sometimes it's like kids, like they walking around like zombies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's not really their fault because I don't know what's going on. Because I remember when I was in the education system, I came to find out a lot of these children don't have a home to go to.
Yeah.
They have no roots. And my thing is, knowledge itself should be taught in the home. I don't think it's the school's responsibility to teach you who you are.
Right.
You should learn that from your people at home. But if your people don't know, and you got no place to call a home, then you are people without roots. You're a tree without roots. And you lacking knowledge of self. And really, Jimmie Lunceford was all about knowledge of self. Having that the foundation to be a success in life. Because my thing, the only thing school is qualified to teach you is how to navigate the system through reading, writing, and arithmetic. But in terms of who your backstory is, that's on your people to provide you that information.
Right.
Or for you to seek it.
Also, that today is Wednesday, and tomorrow you all are doing something at Stax.
Right, we're having a jazz movie night. We've been doing this since 2017 with Stax Museum. Shout out to Jeff Colout, who's the director over the Stax Museum of American Soul Music. So tomorrow we are playing New Orleans, this movie from 1947, featuring Louis Armstrong and Billie Holiday is a maid. Which is
Billie Holiday?
Yeah, Woody Herman. Yeah, she's playing. I mean, we got, it's like this Billie Holiday thing, and they want to rewrite the history on Billie Holiday. And my thing is, I don't think she was a tragedy. I think she was a miracle. The fact that because where she came from, what she was, she was like what Tupac would say, the rose that grew from concrete. Look at what she contributed, and we're still talking about it and listening to her music decades after her death.
Love Billie Holiday.
At 44, I mean, she was a big fan of Louis Armstrong. And I'm saying this like this black woman from Memphis saved them from obscurity because Louis Armstrong is the foundation for pop music singing in this country.
Yeah.
You might not like Louis Armstrong, but I tell you, Frank Sinatra loved him, and Billie Holiday, and Ella Fitzgerald, and all your favorite singers. They had to come through the house on Armstrong. So that's the
tomorrow night, is that a free event?
Yeah, all the events is free. We just like if you could register, it's like first come first serve. Like we can only house about 40 people.
Yeah, because of COVID.
The COVID thing.
So how do they register?
That's a good question. I got to post it somewhere. But you could go. Where did I got this? If you follow me, that's a good question. I sent it out. I don't have a website per se, but if you like, I'm on social media. You can reach out to me. If you text me or call me at 901-299-4355. That's 901-299-4355. You interested in learning more about the festival and all the events going on.
And what about they could email you?
They can email me also at weallbe, that's WEALLBE @gmail.com. That's weallbe, WEALLBE all together @gmail.com.
Okay. One of the things that I know that Saturday you're having lunch with Lunceford at Elwood Cemetery. Is that where he's buried?
Yeah, he's buried in Elwood.
Oh, I didn't know
Luncheon
that.
with Lunceford. Yeah, he's buried right on the same street. I think it's called Crawford in the cemetery. At the church mausoleum is on, where the church family is buried at the beginning. He's towards the end. He's right across from A.W. Willis and Dr. Marion DeCosta Willis.
Wow, I didn't know he was over there.
Yeah, been there since 1947. You know what's interesting about Elwood is the history that's buried there. But the guy who co-wrote Dixie. I wish I was in Dixie.
Yeah.
Herman Frank Arnold. He's buried not that far away from Jimmie Lunceford.
Get out of here.
He played the theme song. He played Dixie for the Confederacy. The capital of the Confederacy was in Montgomery, Alabama, before Richmond, Virginia. That was the capital of the Confederacy. So when Jefferson Davis got sworn in, he actually played Dixie for his inauguration down in Montgomery. But he's buried in Elwood. He's buried in Elwood. Herman Frank Arnold.
You know what, Brother Ron? And my parents are buried over there, and I said I want to be buried over there because I want to be close to my parents.
Yeah.
But Elwood is the history that's
it's amazing. Like that, the city history, black history, national history, all that's buried over there. Like even the Negro Leagues got the Martin brothers buried next to the church family. I think Lieutenant George Lee.
Oh my gosh!
Lieutenant George Lee buried over there.
Yeah,
and so many people. Boss Crump, of course, he's buried there.
Yeah.
Ernest Withers' pictures tell the story.
Yeah.
But like I think people think I'm weird because I like to go around the country and go to historic cemeteries and have lunch. I just get a chicken dinner or something like that or a hamburger.
Right.
And it's beautiful because they don't bother you. The dead they don't want none of your food. they gonna complain when you smacking loud and all that stuff. You just it's a time to reconnect, you know, and to think about some stuff. Cause I know a lot of people that's still afraid to go by cemeteries, spend time in the cemetery.
Yeah. And that's happening. So Sunday is the Jimmie Lunceford 2021 Legacy Awards. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, we're honoring this young, beautiful, wonderful, talented sister here.
I'll take the young.
Yeah, definitely. Queen Bev Johnson, you are our homecoming court queen for this year. So we got a homecoming court. Really, that idea was the genius of my mom, Dr. Callie Hurd. She came up with that idea, creating like a homecoming court to honor ensemble Memphis musicians as well as people who contribute to the culture. So we've been doing that type of format since 2017. Our first one was at the Old Daisy Theater. Sister Lucille Catron, she helped us out with that. So we had them a couple places since that time. But this Hollering Center, I think we're moving in the right direction. The production values are going up and money is being spent. It's free, but not free for me.
Yeah.
So, but it's important to get the awareness. And to whet the public's appetite for their own story, because a lot of us don't know these stories, and if we don't tell their stories, the ancestors get no glory. So, we'll be honoring you. You are homecoming court queen. Dr. Bobby Rush, the king or founder of folk funk, one of the last ones going. He's our homecoming court king. And the fabulous Temprees, our Temptations, they are the homecoming court princes. And then we got Sister Valetta Brinson's operatic powerhouse, very gifted vocalist. She is our homecoming court princess. And then our posthumous king and queen is Onzie Horn Sr. Very unsung. And another unsung, Madam Florence McCleave. I want to say Madam. I got it right. She's got a long name. Madam Florence Cole Talbot McCleave. Yeah. Beautiful black woman. She was a diva, but she was a beautiful educator. Oh, thank you. You gave me some notes. But you know what's crazy about this stuff? There's not a lot of information. We are in an age of information. There's not a lot of information on a lot of these people that I'm talking about online, with the exception of you and Dr. Bobby Rush. And, in the Temporary, but I'm looking at Onzie Horn Sr. This guy is a legend. I remember Emerson Abel used to sing his praises. And this guy basically helped Isaac Hayes write down his Shaft, Oscar Award-winning Shaft. And he did the soundtrack. And, I remember I saw an interview that his son did, Onzie Horn Jr., with Rhodes College, and he talked about how he was on an elevator with the one and only Lionel Hampton, and Lionel Hampton said, your kid, your dad is the greatest vibraphonist I ever heard in my life, and that's Lionel Hampton. Wow, who was a phenomenal musician in his own right. Lionel Hampton, his uncle was a boyfriend of Bessie Smith. He was in the car with her when she got that tragic accident. Yeah, that's Lionel Hampton's uncle in the car with Bessie Smith when she died like that down in Clarksdale. But that's another story. But the fact that Lionel Hampton would sing the praises of this man's father, but if you try to go find information on Onzie Horn, there's nothing on there. I mean, people tell me urban legends that Onzie Horn taught Quincy Jones how to do arranging at Berkeley. I don't know if it's true or not, because you had a lot of big band people that wanted his gifts. I mean, like people like Duke Ellington and people like that. But he had a family business, insurance business around. I heard that if he had left the family business, he would have got disowned.
Wow.
That's what I heard. I don't know what's true, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. Brother Ron, hold on. We'll go to our phone lines. 535-9342, 1-800-503-9342. Hi, caller.
Hey, Doug. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful, and you?
I'm doing okay, and hello to your guests as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, you know what? You remind me a little about myself, because I have no problem taking my date to Elmwood Cemetery because there's so much history that people don't realize that Elmwood has so much history. I know that the firm shot a scene at Elmwood Cemetery. Also, you made a mention, my mother was a graduate of, not Melrose, but Memphis High School, and I was going to mention that Isaac Hayes also graduated from Memphis High School.
Yeah, he is alone, yes.
Yes, sir, he did. And you spoke about a book that you were talking about. Where can you pick up that book dealing from slavery to
you can go like the Amazon and also the Barnes and Nobles online.
Okay, what is the name of the book exactly?
Well, he telling us about ourselves, like the 1619. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
what is the name of the book?
Oh, the book. Oh, the 400. The 400.
The 400.
From Slavery to Hip Hop by John Smith. Oh, John Burrell Smith, B-U-R-L. That's his middle name.
Gotcha.
John B. Smith.
All right. Thank you, Prince.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. WDIA. Hi, caller.
Okay, let me hurry up. I know time running out. Look at here. And I love cemeteries. I always have loved cemeteries. I used to go to the one down there in my hometown and hunt down in Mississippi. Down there, you know where it's real grass and all that stuff.
Yes, right.
I would literally go out there with my composition tablet and take the names. This was back 40-some years ago when I was real young. And too many young teenagers would have went out there.
Yes, right.
And take the names down of people, because I wanted to know who all was in that cemetery, you know. And my granddaddy, my great-great-granddaddy, old man Henderson Barker, and old man, let me get y'all.
Okay, now wait. The topic's not cemeteries. He just mentioned what he's gonna have with the Jimmie Lunceford. Any particular question for Brother Ron?
Parkway. Y'all want one to get some education? Go to Zion over at Parkway.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the first black cemetery in Memphis, Tennessee. Go over there, you go for history. I know you got to go. I ain't like some folks. Bye-bye, I love you.
Thank you, Linda. WDIA. Hi, caller.
Hello, Bev and brother.
Hey, how are you?
Both of you. I'm BT from College of Necklace area. I was born over there, and the majority of my family on my mother's side is buried in the Elmwood. And one of my great friends I knew when I was a little boy, he was a neighborhood guy too, Mr. Floyd Newman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Newman. That's my church member.
Yeah. We honored him the first year.
Yeah, that's my church member. Yeah, Mr. Newman. Yeah, he bad brother too.
Yeah, he is.
You know, they had a tribute about a year ago where they honored him and his baritone sax. I'm pretty sure you were there, bro.
Yeah, I was there at Stags. It was about 2019, I think. Time go by so fast, man.
Okay.
Let me ask you a wild question. It's a good question, a good guy. Do you know Sweet Willie Wine?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Yahweh.
Yeah, Mr. Yahweh.
He used to write, he used to ring with me from one of the Stack houses over there. Good guy. And I'd like to say this for I leave. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. I'm an aerodite mind.
Get out of here, BT. Bye.
Okay, one more thing. Brilliant scholar and political philosopher.
You right.
Can y'all get that? Can y'all get
I got it. Thank you, BT. Bye-bye. I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, but on Sunday at the Halloran Center.
Yep.
And this is I know this is a free event, but you also, Brother Ron, you need to register or
you got to
because of COVID, y'all. You can't fill up the place.
Right. Well, you know, people like there's been demand. People coming from out the city, out the state.
Yeah,
you know,
that's coming.
Well, it's gonna be. Also, we're live streaming it on on our official YouTube channel.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like YouTube.com/WeAllBTV. That's one word. WeAllBetv all together.
Yeah, I just thank you for honoring me. You don't have to have it, and I'm gonna be there with my good friend Bobby Rush and my boyfriends that love me and the Tempri.
That's right.
So it's gonna be nice Sunday evening, and it starts at 5:00.
Yeah, 5. We're going 5 and ends at 8. We're going at Halloween. I know people come as you are. Somebody asked me, "You got to dress up?" I said, "You come as you are, as long as you come with some clothes." Yeah. Right. Okay.
You know what, brother? Because I could sit and talk to you all day because you know this music history. Has it that's always been a passion of yours, right?
I think this history is just learning about people. I used to check out biographies of people in elementary school. Like I learned about the presidents, or like David Crockett, or Daniel Boone, or Andrew Jackson, or Frederick Douglass. And like I said, school is not responsible for feeding your intellectual curiosity. You must do that. You must be a seeker of knowledge. And not only that, but also don't be afraid to experience certain things and go out there and make a difference. Because I know with Jimmie Lunceford, he believed in himself enough to do what he did. I mean, he didn't have no security blanket when he went out there. I mean, he just had his band of brothers. They was like bonded through that, like just like with the later generations of jazz musicians. They had a brotherhood, like Booker Little, George Coleman, all them guys look out for each other, going to Chicago and New York, helping each other get gigs and looking out for each other. And I think, Memphis, unfortunately, we lost that lesson, because I look at a place like Atlanta that benefited hugely from Memphis music. And the only difference between Memphis and Atlanta is that Atlanta is more unified in promoting their own. Whereas, like, you think about this phenomenon known as crunk music. And people always talk about crunk is from Atlanta, but the people who were the kings of crunk, like Little John would tell you, they got this from Orange Mound, from Memphis. They'll name all the neighborhoods, and they'll name all the people that they were influenced by. Just like, you go down to Texas and Houston, you thought A.L.L and MJG was from the Fifth Ward in Texas, not from Orange Mound, because they love those guys. But a prophet is always without honor, in their hometown, family and friends. So we are, Church of God in Christ was started in Memphis. I always tell people, this is the birthplace of modern America. You cannot have America without Memphis. There's more songs about Memphis than any other city in American music history.
Really?
More songs about Memphis in New York or Chicago, any place you can name, there are more songs about Memphis and Memphis-related themes in American recorded, music history. But the thing about it is, Memphis is the hub of commerce, the cultural hub. Everything runs through here distribution-wise, including the culture, like including the music. I'll tell somebody. Miles Davis once said this. He said, the 4 most important words in jazz history is Charlie Parker and Louis Armstrong. Charlie Parker dad was from here. And Louis Armstrong's wife I talked about. Yeah. And then people talking about barbecue in Kansas City. The dude who's the father of modern barbecue was from here. His name was Henry Perry. He's from here. And he went to Kansas City and taught them guys to end up founding the Arthur Bryant's and Gates Barbecue. These are some very well-known, popular barbecue restaurants in Kansas City. They were the protégés or disciples of a dude from the Memphis area named Henry Perry, who was the father of modern barbecue. He died back in March 22nd, 1940 up in Kansas City. But, Memphis is a powerful, booming place, but the people in Memphis don't know that. And that's why we started with Lunceford, to reintroduce them to themselves, hold up this mirror.
I like it. And then also Menanzas, and people don't think that rich history, and I think about one of our folks here, the ancestors I call, that Mr. Williams, A.C. Muha Williams, taught at Menanzas.
There you go.
Come on, bro.
There's some master teachers come out. Like, you even look at like Booker T. Washington. Yeah. I mean, Lucy Campbell, that's the mother of gospel music. Yeah. Then you had Maurice White, who went to Booker T. Washington. They always talk about Chicago.
Who started here.
Nat D. Williams, Johnny Ace, all that stuff, all this amazing culture here. And yet, the people don't know it. Like, you talk to music educators in the school system, they have no idea about this Lunceford fellow and his contribution. And it's not their fault. It's like, it's not the kid's fault. They're not really motivated. Because why should they be motivated if you don't see anything that reflects positivity back to you of yourself?
Yeah.
But this man was tall, dark, and handsome. He was from the South. Very well educated.
Was he married?
Yeah, he actually, it was crazy, not crazy, but like his love of his life was Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois' daughter, Yolanda Du Bois. They both went to Fisk together.
Get out of town.
Yeah, and Dr. Du Bois was a Fisk man before he became to Harvard.
I know.
And also, I think, but he didn't approve of Jimmie Lunceford.
Look at it. For y'all out there, them HBCUs.
Yeah, they're powerful.
Come on now,
HBCUs are powerful. Like, Dick Gregory was a friend of mine. He said, Ron, some of the greatest black leaders came out of HBCUs.
Come on.
Think about it. Like, some of our best came out, and now you look at how HBCUs are being treated now. Yeah. But some of our best and brightest came out of HBCUs.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but he was a graduate. You don't think about it. A lot of bands. Duke Ellington didn't go to college.
Right.
Jimmie went to college and graduated, and was a teacher. And taught students. I mean, he has a story that's like, Hollywood could not come up with this story, but he was in love with Yolanda Du Bois. Dr. Du Bois did not approve of the relationship. He forced Yolanda to break up with Jimmie Lunceford, end up arranging a marriage with her to Countee Cullen, who was the poet laureate of the Harlem Renaissance. But what people don't know, Countee Cullen was more in love with his best man than his woman. Like, his best man was a guy named Harold Jackman. I believe his name was Harold Jackman. He was a model and an English teacher, I believe. But also he was known as the finest man in Harlem. Just Google him up and see if you don't agree or disagree, whatever. Pause. No, I don't.
Wow.
But he ran away.
Ryan, you know what? I got to have you back, brother.
We
got to come on back and talk about this musical history, because you know it. But we're excited on Sunday,
October 31st at the Hollering Center from 5 to 8 p.m. Central.
Thank you so much for being here. Will you come back?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you please? Because we could talk for 2 hours on the musical history, that the things that we did. You've told me some things I didn't know.
I also want to say this about Lunceford. He married an English teacher from Booker T. Washington named Crystal Tully. She was a classmate of his, and that was Vasco Smith's school teacher at Booker T. He had a crush on her. He was a big fan of Lunceford. But Jimmie Lunceford owned and flew his own airplanes, and they said that he was poisoned by a racist restaurant owner up in Oregon before a concert back on July 12, 1947. He dropped dead signing autographs at the music shop next door to his last gig at this place called the Bungalow.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just 45 years old, and people think that he was poisoned. I was like, I don't know. I don't think about it. Maybe his body should be exhumed if there's anything left to see.
and I know this last question to you. Surprised that Brother Ryan Hollywood has not made a movie on him.
No, they haven't. But you got to create the demand though, because he's back without popular demand. People don't know about this history, because even you look at the Whalen family, the music dynasty of the Whalens.
Yeah.
The patriarch of that family, H.D. Whalen, was the best friend of Jimmie Lunceford. He actually sung at Jimmie Lunceford's funeral in Memphis, and on his way back home got killed in a car accident. This is Kirk Whalen's grandfather.
Wow. Come on, bro. You're coming back,
Yeah,
brother. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for Sunday, because you sure didn't have to do. You didn't have.
That's an honor. I'm happy.
You didn't have to think about me. You didn't have to do it.
You are serving up the people. You the people's voice. We need you.
Well,
You uplift and amplify you.
Well, I can't wait to Sunday at the Halloran Center. and see your mama, my Sora.
That's right, Dr. Callie Hurd.
Yeah, Dr. Callie Hurd. Thank you, Ron Hurd. Thank you, and I'll see you on Sunday.
We love you, madly.
And you're coming back.
I'm coming back. Yes,
all right, you're coming back. You're coming back. Thank you, callers. Thank you, listeners, for joining us this day on the Bev Johnson Show. We really do appreciate you. So until tomorrow, please be safe. Keep a cool head, y'all, and don't let anyone steal your joy. Until tomorrow, I'm Bev Johnson, and y'all keep the faith.
The views and opinions
Good.
discussed on the Bev Johnson Show are that of the hosts and callers, and not those of the staff and sponsors of WDIA.
All right, brother. Good.
That was fun. Always fun, actually, though.
Hey, you don't want to miss the annual Agape Child Family.
Yeah, you gotta come back.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so
So your
much.
mom's birthday today.
Yeah, it's my mother's birthday.
You do anything special for that, or you just?
No. You know, I'm not doing anything special. But I just remember my mama. Today's her birthday.
That's cool. She
Now,
was
when
good.
you said that, she's buried over there in Elmwood, and my dad is too. And I had put in my way, I want to be buried in Soulsville, USA.
That's cool. We'd be honored. They'd be honored to have somebody like you of your renown over there
Well, I want that.
for eternity.
I want to be over there. Hey, I want to be in Elmwood, right all over history.
So you already got your plot. You already got your plot out there.
Lance was over there.
Yeah, Lance was over there.
Vasco Smith and
Maxine, all them over there.
Vasco loved jazz.
He loved Jimmie Lunceford. Like I said, his school teacher was Crystal Tully.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he told me he went to Hawaii one time to see Trauma Young, who was a band of a Lunceford alum, very talented trombonist who actually ended up playing with Louis Armstrong, All Stars and stuff.
Right.
But
Do you play instrument?
Yeah, I play a trumpet and stuff, cornet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
when you come back, Ron, next time we're gonna keep you 2 hours because and people were listening. I was getting texts.
Yeah, I got texts from people.
I know people just
We got a big following.
Maybe I can get you back.
It's up to you. I mean, I'll be open.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know how to email you and stuff, or get to your mama. But something like Black History Month, or even I wish I had could have been here for when June is Black Music Month. And
oh yeah, it's like Jimmie Lunceford was a Gemini. He was born June the 6th.
Really?
Yeah, down there. They got a marker down there.
I'm gonna have you back, brother. Hey. Have you back, and we can talk some more. Cause you know that music. You don't talk Count the Color. What you say? Like his best man? What?
Yeah, he was like. Let's look up Harold Jackson.
Cause see, I know I studied Count.
A lot of them guys were like that. A lot of them were gay guys.
Yeah, a lot of them gay guys.
Langston Hughes. He never talked about it though. But
the thing is about them is, I must say, they kept it.
They wasn't flaming. Yeah, they wasn't like. Yeah, they wasn't out about.
Like it is now.
Right, they more conservative.
I remember my mother tell me would point out some people in the church where he's so
right,
and so, and it was some guys I'll never forget Mr. Harvey, Mr. Ed. You know, we thought, but no, they. But they, you know, they act.
So we never. I mean, black people, we more accepting of everybody else than anybody else.
Exactly.
And then we homophobic, but we like what we do.
Right. Exactly.
We look at what white folks do. So, I guess they don't like them. When I mean, we don't have to. We don't supposed to like them, but we accept everybody.
Yeah, right.
For the most part, because you know, there was a guy from New Orleans that was a great jazz pianist and ragtime piano player and composer. His name was Tony Jackson. And you know, people like Joe Roe Morton and Sidney Bechet, he was macho music man. But they said this guy was the best, and he was open with his. This is back in the 19-teens. He was writing songs to his lover like Pretty Baby that became an American pop song standard. And they did a movie called Pretty Baby back in the 70s with Brooke Shields playing a teenage prostitute.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Antonio Fargas, I think he played a character inspired by Tony Jackson. But it was named after his son. He died young, like in his late 30s. I mean, people say syphilis or tuberculosis. But this guy had a photographic memory. He could memorize over thousands of songs. Some people believe that a lot of those white composers took a lot of his songs that he should have got credit for.
Oh, sure.
It's like with Fats Waller, he wrote so many songs.
Yeah.
He didn't get credit for. He was selling them. What he did was he'll go around selling to the white folks and change the title of the song. But even with Fletcher Henderson, I had heard an interview. Man, it was amazing. Like, I don't know, you know who Coleman Hawkins was? He was the father of jazz saxophone. He made jazz saxophone a serious instrument. And he played with Fletcher Henderson back in the 20s. He was telling the interviewer, man, Fats Waller used to write a lot of stuff that Fletcher Henderson got credit for that he ended up giving to Benny Goodman to be the so-called king of swing. You know, Fats Waller just write stuff. He said he was like, he'll just sit at the piano, compose stuff, but he didn't put his name on it. He said Fletcher should have hired him full-time. Fletcher had the money, man, because the man was writing all this stuff, and you getting credit for it. Everybody getting credit off Fats Waller stuff. I don't think his intellectual property is owned by his estate.
What was your major in college?
I mean, I was an art student, but I got an MBA. Overpriced. I mean, ain't doing it. But I do got an MBA though. I do got an MBA. I know you wanted to go to Broadway. You want to be a big time actress,
right?
I don't know. I mean, you got the personality for it.
You know, I was Broadway bound, and because I had got a scholarship to go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Back then, Ron, 1970, they didn't have housing facilities, so you had to find your own house.
That's crazy.
My father said, "You think you going to New York City? We ain't got no folks there. You know, you better find a school with a dormitory somewhere. Stay your hotel right here home and go to school up in and I was crushed because I wanted, that was my thing. I acted and I did because I took private drama lessons. I was in the drama, You were
a born performer.
Yeah. I always was in the choir saying that was all I do. It just got crushed. My dad told me, no.
But he was doing what a father should have did, right?
Yeah. Because you think about 1970. I'm
New York was different.
Years old. I know nothing about New York City, and I'm gonna be up there. And I think about that run. I said, no, if I had went there, all kind of things could have happened.
Because they were wild back in those days, from what I heard. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady, like Disney World right now, but it wasn't like that back in the day.
So and I think about that now. I said, well, he did me a favor. So, and my mother said, well, I went to Russ, like Mississippi. I ain't going to, they hang nigga in Mississippi, and I'm just thinking, you think about that. I said, they be hanging. Yeah. But you know what? Where'd I go? Graduated from Russ College.
So I
fell in love with Russ. Oh my God. Fell in. And because Russ, Ron, showed us the world. I was in the choir, a cappella choir. We traveled all over this country.
Wow.
Even went to Europe, to Romania. But Russ gave a lot of those kids came from Mississippi and other places too, but they gave us a chance to see the United States. If I hadn't been in Russ, I would have never seen Mount Rushmore. Went to the South and North Dakota. Come on.
Yeah, that's HBCU.
Right. We're going to see the Mount Rushmore, the president.
Yeah.
The Black Hills of South. We went to California. Wait a minute, so crazy. So we're gonna go to Disney. We went to Disneyland. We just knew we're gonna be on Soul Train. We gonna go on Soul. That. We ain't going on Soul Train. But just think about the experience. Yeah, I know. We were just we're going to LA. We're gonna go on Soul Train. But they did take we did go to Disneyland and all. Kind of see the stuff, but never would have had that like HBCU. Come on now.
In Mississippi, Ida B. Wells is alum of
Yeah.
a lot of great. I best went to HBCU.
Right.
That's why I like what Deion Sanders is doing in Jackson.
Right.
I think he's very sincere. I think he'll be there for a while.
I got my master's from Jackson, but I love what Deion did because he brought light again to HBCUs.
That's right.
And now these other young men and athletes who go, okay, we're gonna donate, we're gonna give back, we coming back. That's what's going on, Lamar. I love that.
Yeah.
With Bonzi coming in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. and then come on now.
Yeah, but that show you that black men are needed instead. I went to my Jimmie Lunceford was a man who stepped up.
We need that now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you talked because we need, and I wish you could go around more places and tell that story.
I mean, I'm trying to find different creative ways to do it using technology.
I mean, really. So you could do, because a lot of people don't know about him.
But the white folks that make money, how they, because I talked to old timers. They tell me, well, this white dude called me, and he from Germany. He came over here to interview me for like 5 hours, and next thing you know, they got a book, a bestseller, and a movie.
Right.
But I found a way to move. As I get older, I say, no, I'm gonna take more chances and stuff. Why not?
Why not? Like you said, at home my friend, I said, learn how to take risks. Sometimes to take the risk.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. I'm
gonna tell you, Ron. This will be on our podcast this afternoon, so you can always go back and listen to it.
Okay, they got the callers.
Yeah, you go on our website and scroll down to my picture, and then click it, and you'll see your name, so you can go back and listen to it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it'll be on there. But thank you so much.
Hey everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.